Have you ever felt like you're carrying a weight that no one else can see? That quiet struggle when even simple things feel impossible. You're not alone, and, more importantly, there are ways out. Today, I'm going to share 5 powerful steps to overcome depression. Each one is practical, simple to understand, and can change the way you feel. Day by day, stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see a clear path forward and, maybe even find the spark of hope you've been looking for. When it comes to overcoming depression, one of the most crucial and effective steps is seeking professional help. Depression is not just a fleeting sadness or a bad mood. It is a serious mental health condition that affects how people think, feel, and behave. While self-help practices, lifestyle adjustments, and the support of friends and family are incredibly important, professional guidance can provide a solid foundation for recovery. Many people hesitate to reach out because of stigma, fear, or the misconception that they should be able to handle it on their own. However, taking the step to talk with a trained professional is a powerful and courageous choice that can change the entire course of someone's life. Professional help can take many forms, each tailored to meet the individual's specific needs. Therapy, for example, is one of the most widely used approaches. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is often recommended for depression because it helps people identify harmful thought patterns and replace them with healthier, more realistic perspectives. Through guided conversations, therapists can uncover the root causes of depressive thoughts and provide practical tools for coping. Beyond CBT, there are other therapeutic methods like interpersonal therapy, IPT, which focuses on improving relationships and communication, or psychodynamic therapy, which helps individuals explore unresolved conflicts from the past. Each approach has its benefits, and part of professional help is figuring out which method works best for a particular individual. In addition to therapy, medical support may sometimes be necessary. Psychiatrists and doctors can evaluate whether medication might help balance brain chemistry, making it easier for people to engage with therapy in daily life. Antidepressants are not a quick fix, but for many, they provide a much-needed lift that helps them regain energy and clarity. When prescribed and monitored carefully, medication can be a safe and effective part of the healing process. Importantly, medication is never meant to erase someone's personality or emotions. It simply works to reduce the overwhelming symptoms that depression brings. Another vital aspect of professional support is regular monitoring and guidance. Depression often comes in cycles, with periods of improvement and relapse. Having a professional to turn to means there is someone who can track progress, adjust treatment as necessary, and provide encouragement along the way. This ongoing relationship helps prevent the feeling of being lost or overwhelmed during recovery. It also reinforces accountability, as the individual is not navigating the ups and downs alone, but instead has a trusted ally who understands the process. Many people are surprised to discover how much relief comes simply from having a safe space to talk. Professionals are trained to listen without judgment and to offer perspectives that family or friends may not be equipped to provide. Talking about painful experiences or negative thoughts can feel intimidating, but the act of sharing often lifts a heavy burden. Knowing that someone genuinely understands and validates what you are going through can reduce the sense of isolation that depression feeds on. Of course, professional help does not mean ignoring the role of family, friends, and self-care. Rather, it works in harmony with those support systems. Professionals can even involve loved ones in the recovery process, teaching them how to provide encouragement without unintentionally adding pressure. They can also suggest lifestyle changes, coping mechanisms, and small daily practices that complement therapy or medication. This holistic approach ensures that recovery is not just about surviving depression, but about building a sustainable and fulfilling life afterward. It is also worth addressing the barriers that prevent people from seeking help. One common challenge is stigma, the fear of being labeled as weak or broken. But in reality, reaching out for professional support is a sign of strength. It demonstrates self-awareness and the courage to take action. Another barrier is accessibility. Not everyone has easy access to therapy or medical care due to cost or availability. In such cases, online therapy platforms, community support programs, or nonprofit mental health services can serve as alternatives. The important thing is not to give up, but to keep searching for the support that fits your situation. Taking the first step might feel overwhelming, but it can start small. It might be booking a consultation with a counselor, reaching out to a doctor, or even joining a mental health support hotline just to talk. From there, the journey unfolds gradually. Over time, people begin to notice sleep improves, energy increases, thoughts become clearer, and the weight of depression starts to lift. Ultimately, seeking professional help is not about admitting defeat. It is about giving yourself the tools, guidance, and compassion you deserve to heal. Depression is not a battle anyone should have to fight alone, and professional support is a powerful reminder that healing is always possible, no matter how heavy the darkness feels. By reaching out, you take the first and most important step toward reclaiming your life and your sense of hope. Building healthy routines is one of the most impactful ways to fight depression and gradually restore balance in life. When someone is struggling with depression, everyday tasks that may once have felt simple, such as getting out of bed, eating, or maintaining regular sleep, can become overwhelming. Days start to blur into one another, and the lack of structure deepens feelings of hopelessness and fatigue. That is why creating and following consistent routines provides a powerful anchor. It not only gives shape to the day, but also sends a message to the brain and body that life has rhythm, purpose, and progress. One of the first areas to focus on is sleep. Depression often disrupts natural sleep cycles, causing either insomnia or excessive sleeping. Poor sleep, in turn, worsens depressive symptoms, creating a vicious cycle. By setting regular bedtimes and wake-up times, even on weekends, individuals can retrain their bodies to follow a healthy circadian rhythm. Simple habits like avoiding screens before bed, keeping the bedroom dark and cool, or practicing a short, relaxation exercise can improve sleep quality significantly. Over time, consistent sleep not only boosts energy levels, but also stabilizes mood and improves concentration. Nutrition is another cornerstone of healthy routines. Depression can affect appetite in two opposite ways. Some people lose interest in food altogether, while others use eating as a form of comfort, often leading to unhealthy choices. Both extremes can leave the body deprived of the nutrients it needs to function properly. Building a routine around balanced meals helps regulate energy and mood. This doesn't require drastic diets or strict rules. Small steps like eating more fruits and vegetables, drinking enough water, and reducing processed foods can make a noticeable difference. Cooking simple meals at home, when possible, adds not just nourishment but also a sense of accomplishment and control. Equally important is daily structure. Depression thrives in chaos and uncertainty, but structure brings predictability and calm. A healthy routine doesn't need to be rigid. Rather, it should provide gentle guidance for the day. For instance, setting aside specific times for work, rest, exercise, meals, and hobbies can help avoid long stretches of aimlessness. Checking off small tasks, like making the bed, writing in a journal, or watering plants, builds momentum. Each completed action reinforces the feeling that progress is possible, even on hard days. These small victories accumulate and remind individuals that they are capable of moving forward. Another key part of healthy routines is self-care rituals. Many people with depression neglect their own needs, either because of exhaustion or feelings of unworthiness. Yet simple acts of self-care, taking a warm shower, wearing clean clothes, practicing skincare, or spending 10 minutes in the sun signal to the brain that you matter. These routines don't just care for the body, they nurture the mind by reinforcing self-respect and dignity. Over time, self-care becomes a habit that strengthens resilience against negative thoughts. Building healthy routines also means creating boundaries around harmful habits. For example, excessive use of social media or endless scrolling can feed feelings of inadequacy and isolation. By setting time limits or replacing screen time with more fulfilling activities like reading, walking, or creative projects, individuals can protect their mental space. Likewise, limiting caffeine, alcohol, or substance use reduces mood swings and supports stability. Boundaries are not punishments. They are forms of self-protection that allow healthier behaviors to thrive. It is important to remember that routines are not about perfection. Depression can make it difficult to stick to schedules, and that is okay. The goal is not to force yourself into strict discipline, but to create a supportive framework. On some days, simply getting out of bed and brushing your teeth is enough to count as progress. On others, you may have the strength to cook a meal, go for a walk, or complete work tasks. What matters most is consistency over time, not immediate results. Like planting seeds, the benefits of healthy routines grow gradually but steadily. For many people, starting small is the most sustainable way to build routines. Instead of overloading yourself with changes, choose one area, such as going to bed at the same time each night or committing to eating breakfast. Once that habit feels comfortable, add another. Layering habits in this way prevents burnout and makes it easier to maintain long-term progress. Celebrating these small achievements is also crucial. Recognizing even minor improvements builds confidence and reinforces the belief that change is possible. Ultimately, building healthy routines is not about erasing depression overnight. It is about creating stability, fostering self-care, and giving yourself a reliable foundation to heal. Each consistent action becomes a quiet but powerful declaration. I am taking steps to care for myself. And while depression often makes the future feel uncertain, healthy routines provide reassurance that there is order, growth, and hope in the everyday. Over time, these practices can transform not just daily life, but also the way someone sees themselves and their ability to recover. Staying physically active is one of the most effective and natural ways to combat depression. While it may seem simple on the surface, the connection between movement and mental health is deeply rooted in both science and lived experience. Exercise is not only about strengthening muscles or improving endurance, it is a powerful tool that works directly on the brain, emotions, and overall outlook on life. For someone struggling with depression, physical activity can feel like an impossible task, but even small, consistent steps can create a ripple effect that significantly improves mood and energy levels. One of the primary benefits of exercise is the release of endorphins, often called the brain's feel-good chemicals. These natural neurotransmitters act as mood lifters, reducing pain perception and creating a sense of well-being. Beyond endorphins, physical activity also stimulates the production of serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine chemicals closely linked to mood regulation and motivation. This means that even a short workout, a brisk walk, or a few minutes of stretching can trigger biological changes that directly counter symptoms of depression, such as sadness, fatigue, and lack of interest. Equally important is the impact of exercise on stress reduction. Depression often coexists with high levels of stress and anxiety. Regular movement helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone, and encourages relaxation. Activities like yoga, tai chi, or swimming provide a meditative quality, combining physical movement with focused breathing, which calms both body and mind. This stress relief not only eases emotional tension, but also creates space for clearer thinking and better problem solving. Physical activity also plays a major role in improving sleep quality. As mentioned earlier, depression frequently disrupts healthy sleep patterns. Exercise helps regulate circadian rhythms, making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep through the night. Better rest translates into higher energy, improved focus, and greater emotional stability. This creates a positive cycle. Exercise improves sleep. Good sleep reduces depressive symptoms, and reduced symptoms make it easier to continue exercising. One overlooked benefit of staying active is its effect on self-esteem and self-image. Depression often distorts self-perception, leaving individuals feeling worthless or stuck. Engaging in physical activity provides opportunities to set and achieve small goals. Completing a workout, increasing stamina, or simply sticking to a walking routine builds a sense of accomplishment. These achievements may seem minor, but they challenge negative beliefs and remind individuals of their capability and strength. Over time, this growing confidence becomes a buffer against depressive thoughts. Another powerful aspect of physical activity is the social connection it can foster. Joining a group exercise class, playing a team sport, or even walking regularly with a friend creates opportunities for interaction. Social isolation is both a symptom and a driver of depression, but shared physical activity breaks that cycle. Even in solo activities like running or cycling, being outdoors and part of a community of movers, whether seen or simply sensed, can reduce feelings of loneliness. It is important to emphasize that physical activity doesn't need to be extreme. To be effective, many people with depression hesitate to exercise because they imagine they must go to the gym daily or run long distances. In reality, gentle and consistent movement is often the best starting point. A 10-minute walk in the neighborhood, light stretching, or dancing to a favorite song at home can all spark the same chemical and emotional benefits. The key is not intensity, but regularity. For beginners or those feeling particularly low, incorporating movement into daily life can be more approachable than formal workouts. Examples include taking the stairs instead of the elevator, gardening, doing household chores with energy, or playing with a pet. These activities may not look like traditional exercise, but they keep the body active and the mind engaged. Over time, as energy builds, more structured forms of exercise can be added. It's also worth noting that physical activity encourages mind-body awareness. Depression often disconnects people from their own bodies, creating a sense of numbness or detachment. Movement restores that connection. Feeling the rhythm of footsteps, the stretch of muscles, or the beat of a heart during exercise reminds individuals that they are alive, present, and capable of action. This reconnection can be deeply healing. Ultimately, staying physically active is not a cure for depression, but it is a cornerstone of recovery. By reducing stress, improving sleep, boosting self-esteem, and restoring biochemical balance, exercise lays the groundwork for healing. The beauty of this approach is that it can be tailored to any lifestyle, fitness level, or preference. Whether it is yoga at home, hiking in nature, or a simple walk to the local park, each act of movement is a step toward reclaiming joy and resilience. In the journey to overcome depression, exercise serves as both a tool for immediate relief and a foundation for long-term emotional strength. Organizing time and setting priorities is one of the most underrated but powerful strategies to overcome depression. Depression often brings with it a heavy fog of confusion, forgetfulness, and overwhelming feelings of helplessness. Days can blur together, tasks pile up, and even simple decisions like what to eat or when to shower can feel paralyzing. By creating structure through effective time management, individuals gain clarity, control, and a renewed sense of purpose. While it may sound like a simple productivity technique, the truth is that organizing time becomes a lifeline in restoring balance and mental stability. One of the biggest challenges in depression is the feeling of being overwhelmed by unstructured time. Without a plan, the day can feel endless, amplifying negative thoughts and emotions. Organizing time provides an anchor. A schedule acts as a roadmap, showing clearly what needs to be done and when, which reduces the mental burden of constant decision. Knowing what comes next prevents the spiral of "I don't know where to start" that often keeps people stuck in inactivity. Prioritization is equally important. Depression can make even small tasks feel monumental. Instead of trying to tackle everything at once, prioritizing helps break life into manageable steps. A useful method is the top 3 priorities approach, using just 3 tasks for the day that, if completed, would create a sense of accomplishment. These tasks don't need to be huge. They can be as simple as doing the laundry, cooking a healthy meal, or calling a friend. Completing them brings a sense of progress and reminds the individual that forward motion is possible. Another valuable tool is the use of planners, calendars, or apps to organize tasks. Writing things down externalizes worries and clears mental space. It also provides a tangible record of progress, which can be encouraging. For example, crossing items off a to-do list or seeing a week filled with completed tasks reinforces a sense of capability and builds momentum. Organizing time also includes structuring basic daily routines. Depression often disrupts sleep, eating, and self-care habits. By setting consistent times for waking up, meals, and bedtime, individuals create stability that helps regulate mood. Routine reduces unpredictability, and predictability creates safety. Something as simple as committing to wake up at the same time each morning can make a significant difference in mood regulation. It's important to acknowledge that perfection is not the goal. Depression thrives on self-criticism, so when creating schedules or setting priorities, flexibility is key. Missing a task or deviating from the plan should not be seen as failure. Instead, it should be treated with compassion and viewed as an opportunity to adjust. For example, if energy is low, replacing a strenuous task with a lighter one like reading or gentle stretching still counts as honoring the structure. This balance between consistency and flexibility prevents burnout and encourages persistence. Organizing time also helps in managing long-term goals, which depression often obscures. When in a depressive state, the future may look empty or hopeless. Breaking down long-term aspirations into small, actionable steps makes them feel attainable. For instance, if someone dreams of returning to school or changing careers, the first step might simply be researching programs or updating a resume. Each small action builds momentum, gradually transforming what once felt impossible into achievable progress. Another overlooked benefit of structuring time is its role in reducing procrastination. Depression often feeds on off tasks out of fear, fatigue, or hopelessness. Unfortunately, avoidance increases guilt and deepens depressive feelings. Scheduling specific times for tasks counters this cycle. Even allocating just 15 minutes to start a task can break the barrier of procrastination and create a sense of relief beyond practical benefits. Organizing time and priorities gives back something essential, a sense of agency. Depression can strip away the belief that one has control over life. Creating and following a plan, even in small ways, restores that sense of power. It demonstrates that choices matter, actions have impact, and progress is possible. This realization is deeply empowering and can ignite hope where hopelessness once lived. Finally, organizing time fosters balance between responsibilities and rest. Depression can make people swing between extremes, either doing nothing at all or overloading themselves in an attempt to catch up. Structured planning ensures there is time for both productivity and relaxation, including activities that bring joy, peace, or creativity. In a schedule like reading, painting, or listening to music reminds individuals that life is not only about responsibilities but also about fulfillment. In conclusion, organizing time and setting priorities is much more than a productivity skill. It is a healing practice. It provides structure where there is chaos, clarity where there is confusion, and hope where there is despair. Through small steps, individuals can reclaim control over their days, regain confidence in their abilities, and gradually lift themselves out of the weight of depression. The journey may not be linear, but with each organized day, the light of stability and self-belief grows stronger. Human beings are not meant to face life's struggles in isolation, and this truth becomes even more important when dealing with depression. One of the most powerful steps toward recovery is building meaningful connections and openly sharing feelings with others. While depression often whispers the lie that no one understands or you'll only be a burden, the reality is that reaching out can significantly lighten the emotional load. The connection creates safety, empathy, and belonging, all of which directly counteract the loneliness and emptiness that depression tends to magnify. The first level of connection is with friends and family. Trusted loved ones can provide emotional support, encouragement, and a listening ear. Sometimes, what matters most is not advice or solutions, but simply having someone who listens without judgment. Talking openly about struggles reduces the sense of carrying everything alone. For example, sharing with a sibling that I've been feeling really down lately, or telling a close friend, I need some company today, can help bridge the gap between isolation and togetherness. Even small conversations can create big relief. For many people, depression makes initiating contact difficult. It may feel awkward, draining, or even shameful. This is why it's helpful to start small and be honest, instead of pretending everything is fine. Expressing simple truths like I don't feel like myself these days opens the door to connection. Loved ones often want to help, but may not know how. By sharing what kind of support is needed, whether it's company, advice, or just listening, the relationship grows stronger and more supportive. Beyond personal relationships, professional connections can be life-changing. Therapists, counselors, and support groups offer safe spaces where individuals can express emotions freely and learn practical coping strategies. Talking with a therapist provides not only empathy, but also professional guidance tailored to the situation. Group therapy or peer support groups allow people to realize they are not alone. Others share similar struggles, and this sense of community reduces stigma and builds resilience. Connection also extends to communities and activities. Joining clubs, volunteering, or participating in group hobbies creates opportunities for social interaction and purpose. Even if depression makes motivation low, small steps like attending a class or joining an online community of shared interests can spark joy and belonging. Being part of something larger than oneself reduces the focus on internal struggles and reminds individuals that they contribute value to the world. An important part of connecting is learning to communicate openly about mental health. Stigma still surrounds depression in many cultures, which can make it difficult to share openly. However, breaking the silence not only benefits the individual but also encourages others who may be silently struggling. When someone bravely shares their journey, it normalizes the conversation and builds a culture of support. It's also worth recognizing that connection doesn't always have to be verbal. Spending quiet time with a loved one, sharing a meal, or even sitting together in silence can foster closeness. Pets, too, provide unique forms of companionship. Caring for a dog, cat, or other animal offers unconditional love, routine, and comfort that ease feelings of loneliness. In moments when reaching out feels impossible, technology can be a bridge. Text messages, voice notes, or online support groups provide low-pressure ways to stay connected. For instance, sending a short message like "I'm having a rough day, could we talk later?" takes less energy than a full conversation but still builds connection. Over time, these small efforts accumulate and strengthen support networks. Connection also brings an essential reminder: you are not alone. Depression thrives on isolation, convincing people that no one else could understand. Yet countless individuals around the world face similar struggles, and many have walked the path toward healing. By sharing and connecting, a person not only receives support but also contributes to others' healing. Empathy flows both ways, and offering compassion to someone else can be deeply therapeutic. Finally, it's important to remember that connection is not about being constantly social or forcing interactions. It's about quality, not quantity. Even one genuine, supportive relationship can make a tremendous difference. Building trust, allowing vulnerability, and showing up for one another lays the foundation for resilience and recovery. In conclusion, connecting and sharing is not a luxury in the fight against depression, it is a necessity. Reaching out breaks the silence, shatters the illusion of isolation, and replaces it with empathy, love, and community. Whether through friends, family, professionals, or communities, every connection strengthens the foundation of healing. Depression may try to isolate, but with each step toward openness, the walls of loneliness begin to crumble. True healing often begins with the simple but brave act of saying, "I need help." And more often than not, help is closer than we think. Overcoming depression is not a single event or a quick fix. It is a journey of healing that involves consistent effort, patience, and the willingness to nurture oneself. Each of the steps explored: seeking professional help, building healthy routines, staying physically active, connecting with others, and practicing mindfulness forms part of a larger picture. When these practices come together, they create a supportive foundation that allows individuals not only to manage depressive symptoms, but also to rebuild a sense of hope, purpose, and joy in life. One of the most important things to remember is that healing does not follow a straight line. There will be good days and hard days, moments of progress and times of setback. This is completely natural and does not mean failure. In fact, setbacks are often part of the growth process, teaching resilience and patience. By accepting that recovery takes time, Individuals can avoid the pressure of fixing themselves quickly and instead focus on steady, sustainable improvement. It is also essential to acknowledge that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Too often, depression convinces people that they must carry their burdens alone or that needing support makes them inadequate. The truth is the opposite. Reaching out shows courage, and allowing others to support you builds stronger relationships. In resilience, just as someone with a physical illness seeks treatment, someone facing depression deserves care and support without shame. Another crucial factor in escaping depression is self-compassion. Many people living with depression also struggle with harsh self-criticism, blaming themselves for not being happy enough or strong enough. But compassion means treating oneself with the same kindness that would be offered to a friend in pain. This may involve gentle reminders like, "I am doing my best right now," or "It's okay to rest." When individuals begin to replace self-criticism with compassion, they create a mental environment where healing can flourish. Over time, the combination of small actions creates momentum. Choosing to take a walk, joining a support group, eating a nourishing meal, or practicing mindfulness may seem small in isolation, but together, they build strength. Depression often thrives on inertia, keeping people stuck in cycles of inactivity and despair. Breaking that cycle with even one small positive step each day can shift the trajectory. Consistency, more than intensity, is the key to lasting progress. It is also worth noting that depression does not define a person's identity. While it may feel overwhelming in the moment, it is only one part of life's story, not the whole. Countless people have lived through depression and gone on to build meaningful, fulfilling lives. Their journeys stand as proof that healing is possible. By focusing on personal strengths, talents, and values, individuals can begin to rediscover who they are beyond depression. But furthermore, living through depression often brings unexpected growth. Many people emerge from this struggle with greater empathy, deeper gratitude, and a stronger sense of resilience. While the experience itself, it is painful, it can also teach valuable lessons about the importance of balance, self-care, and human connection. In this sense, recovery is not about going back to who you were, but about evolving into a stronger version of yourself. As this journey unfolds, it is vital to keep in mind that you are never truly alone. Millions of people worldwide are facing or have faced depression. Countless resources, communities, and professionals exist to provide support. More importantly, friends, family, and even strangers often want to help, even if they do not always know how. Taking the step to connect can bridge that gap and open doors to healing. Ultimately, escaping depression is about reclaiming life, piece by piece. It is about saying yes to healing, even on the days when depression says no. It is about courage, the courage to keep moving forward, to reach out, and to believe that a brighter future is possible. And though the road may be challenging, it is absolutely worth walking. If you are struggling with depression, remember, progress may feel slow, but every small step counts. Whether it is talking to someone you trust, practicing deep breathing, going for a short walk, or simply choosing to get out of bed, today's are victories. Celebrate them, hold on to them. They are proof that healing is already in motion. Together, the practices outlined here create not just survival, but the foundation for thriving. With time, support, and self-compassion, you can rediscover joy, purpose, and connection. Depression does not have the final word, you do. And every step you take toward healing is a powerful declaration that your story is still being written, and it holds so much possibility. Remember, depression does not define you, it's just a chapter, not your whole story. With the right steps, support, and consistency, you can rise stronger and rediscover joy in life. If this video gave you even a little spark of hope, then imagine how much more we can achieve together. So don't stop here, hit that subscribe button, join our community, and let's keep walking this journey of healing and growth side by side. Your future self will thank you for it.